What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the discussion that actually just started. So, props to you guys for just making it. I'm going to discuss about the ideologies that were formed in Steven Spielberg's hit film Jaws, and how those exact same ideologies are rooted to none other than our 40th President, Ronald Reagan. And without further ado, let's get it!
Yes, we all know what that sound means. It means Jaws has just claimed its next victim. And if you ever heard the song playing in the background as non-diegetic music, it means that you're only seconds away from meeting the big white himself, as this motif has been used again and again and again throughout the film. Jaws was created in 1975 by Steven Spielberg, and it was an instant summer blockbuster that is still credited today as one of the greatest films that has ever been made. Within the first couple of days it was released, it earned $7 million, and by the end of its first week, $14 million. Jaws, like many other films created during the Reagan era, carry with them the ideologies of the campaign and administration staff of the 40th President, Ronald Reagan. But in order to understand how the ideologies in Jaws lines up with Reagan's ideologies that were promoted during his time in office, it is important to look at some of the ideologies that Reagan had promoted during the Reagan era. The Reagan era traces back to the 1970s, where during the time the United States was reeling from multiple crises, both foreign and domestic, from the defeat in the Vietnam War to the speculation in regards to the Soviet power rising in Russia. The American people were very much dysfunctional as a unit. This was the stage of the Reagan era, as Ronald Reagan would implement the ideologies he thought was necessary to band America together despite the hardships that was endured by the American people. The main ideology that the American people, especially filmmakers at the time, understood quite well was Reagan's concept of what a hard body was, and how Reagan promoted the concept to the American people in order for America to recover from this dark period as a stronger nation. The details of what a hard body entails is best explained by Susan Jeffers in her book Hard Bodies, Hollywood Masculinity in the Reagan Era, by explaining how Reagan's self-promoted image of chopping wood at his ranch, riding horses, standing tall at the presidential podium, he was one of these hard bodies, a body not subject to age, fatigue, or disease. This image that Jeffrey painted of the concept of hard bodies is a concept where Ronald Reagan himself is an example of this hard body, that being a masculine American Caucasian man with a rugged and strong body to promote his masculinity and the mentality that they will never be defeated by anyone that opposes them. Reagan promoted this image of himself since there was speculation concerning his health to the American people. He believed that promoting this image that he is still strong and will not be conquered by any form of disability. Even an assassination attempt will not stop him from standing strong against adversity. During the Reagan era, he pushed for the American people to adopt this mindset of being a hard body, both figuratively and in some cases literally, so America can stand strong once again. Filmmakers like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, to name a few, decided to take that rugged, manly persona associated with the hard bodies in film. With Star Wars following the example of hard body that is linked to westerns, Jaws' ideology of the hard body extends to numerous semantics throughout the film. According to Frederick Jameson, in regards to the shark of Jaws, the shark stands in a variety of fears: uncontrolled organic nature threatening the artificial society, big businesses corrupting and endangering community, to name a few, which the film tries to contain through the reassuring defeat of evil by representatives of the current class structure. Which it makes perfect sense for Jaws to represent all of those things, as that is exactly what Jaws did throughout the film. In the film, Jaws presents himself as an immediate threat to the community that he is terrorizing, where unless citizens adopt the belief of having a hard body, so that way they're able to band together and defeat Jaws the shark, they'll ultimately be defeated and all eaten by. For the American people to do such a feat, like banding together to not let a threat spell their imminent doom, is a true hallmark of a society that exemplifies the notions of the Reagan era. However, such a society may sound like a Reagan utopia where conflicts are dealt with by banding together and facing head-on like a community, but that does not make it entirely just. Throughout the film, where you pay close attention to the shots of beach attendants and other characters in the film, there is little to no representation of another race outside of white.
Now, as a black man watching the film, I couldn't help but notice that one thing, that there were zero to no black people being represented throughout the film. And since the film does follow along with ideologies that were formed during the Reagan campaign, makes me want to think that the film might have been low-key racist. I know a lot of people are surprised, but...
Okay, let me explain. During Ronald Reagan's term as president, his administration has been oddly apprehensive to the beneficial strides towards the black community and equal rights. Thomas Cooley's article explains this by providing insight on Reagan's famous economic policy, Reaganomics, and how it negatively affected the black community. Reaganomics dealt with the elimination of numerous social welfare programs and subsidies for the poor and disadvantaged. Because blacks were disproportionately poor, many of these programs drastically affected their community when they were cut. This subjugation of the black community only caused more animosity between them and President Reagan, as the administration was not acting out of interest for the black community at all, but instead breaking them up. Black people began to understand that the Reagan administration is threatening the gains that they have acquired from the civil rights movement, and thus sides between the black community and the Reagan administration was frequently fought between President Ronald Reagan and the American civil rights activist Jesse Jackson. With Jaws showing zero to no black people featuring in the film, it does show the ugly side of the Reagan era. According to this time period, to have a hard body, one must be a Caucasian heterosexual male. The fact that the cast we're dealing with is a majority white, it offers no insight of the situation from the viewpoint of a black man or woman, and also speaks volumes of the ideology at the time that black people were not closely associated with white people, even in the face of a threat that kills indiscriminately. The shark in Jaws also holds another meaning in contrast to Jameson's, for it not being a threat to the American people where they must gain a hard body to overcome this obstacle, but rather the shark itself has a hard body. Yes, sharks don't exactly resemble the mental image of the Reagan era having a hard body similar to what we talked about previously, but it does carry out the main principle of the hard body, of it not letting anything prohibit it from accomplishing its goal. Whether it be an entire pier holding it back, or a group of shark hunters, there is very little that anyone could stop Jaws from getting what it wanted: human flesh. Jeffrey explains in her book that anyone that opposed Reagan's version of the conservative hard body was regarded as a soft body, that entailed that they were most likely liberal, not all physically strong, and unfocused. These are not only the people that Jaws prey on. Steven Spielberg does play with colors in the film by having certain colors convey a meaning to the audience, whether it be obvious like red meaning blood or death, to yellow meaning very discreet, painting shark attack. Here we see Jaws' first victim, a blonde teenage girl who has left her group of friends to go out swimming by herself. We see that she is a woman, and therefore the exact opposite of what Reagan would describe what a hard body is, and therefore she is killed off first. Again, the list can go on and on about the parallelisms between Reagan's ideologies to Jaws' ideologies, as there are many similarities that they have, from adopting the hard body persona of never backing down from adversity or challenge, to there being little to no representation of the black community. In a setting that is to exemplify the best of Reagan's administration, Jaws emulates all this in strides of being the perfect Reagan utopia. That is my time, and I hope you all enjoyed the video.